What you eat before 9 in the morning changes how your brain works for the rest of the day, not slightly, measurably. The research on this is striking. In my last video, I showed you that your brain shrinks after 50 and that 3 things can slow it down: exercise, sleep, and social connection. But there is a 4th factor I did not have time to cover, and it might be the easiest one to change: breakfast. Most people over 65 eat the same breakfast they have eaten for decades: toast, cereal, maybe eggs, maybe nothing at all. And for most of those years, it did not matter much. The brain was resilient enough to run on almost anything. But after 65, the brain's fuel demands become more specific. It needs particular nutrients to maintain the connections it still has, to produce the neurotransmitters that keep you sharp, and to fight the oxidative stress that accelerates shrinkage. A generic breakfast no longer cuts it. The worst part is that the most common breakfast foods for seniors are also the worst for the aging brain. White toast spikes blood sugar, which triggers inflammation. Sugary cereals do the same. Orange juice, which feels healthy, delivers 22 grams of sugar with none of the fiber that would slow its absorption. And skipping breakfast entirely leaves the brain running on fumes during its most productive hours. Today, I am going to build you the ideal brain breakfast. 5 foods, backed by neuroscience research, that you can combine in under 5 minutes. And I am going to explain exactly what each one does inside your brain so you understand why it matters. Let us start with the single most studied brain food on the planet: blueberries. Blueberries are packed with a class of compounds called anthocyanins. These are the pigments that give berries their deep blue and purple color. But they are far more than pigments. Anthocyanins cross the blood-brain barrier, one of the few dietary compounds that can, and they accumulate in brain regions associated with memory and learning, particularly the hippocampus. A landmark study from the University of Exeter followed older adults who drank the equivalent of 1 cup of blueberries daily for 12 weeks. At the end of the trial, the blueberry group showed improved blood flow to the brain and better performance on memory tasks compared to the placebo group. The researchers attributed this to the ability of anthocyanins to improve vascular function within the brain itself. A handful of blueberries every morning. That is food number 1. Food number 2, eggs. And I mean whole eggs, yolk included. For years, eggs were demonized because of their cholesterol content, but the science has shifted dramatically. The dietary cholesterol in eggs has minimal impact on blood cholesterol for most people. What eggs do contain is choline, and choline is essential for your brain. Choline is the precursor to acetylcholine, one of the most important neurotransmitters for memory and learning. After 65, acetylcholine production naturally declines. This decline is so central to cognitive aging that most Alzheimer's medications work by trying to boost acetylcholine levels. And yet, research shows that over 90% of older adults do not get enough choline from their diet. 1 large egg provides roughly 150 milligrams of choline. 2 eggs give you nearly half your daily requirement. Scrambled, boiled, poached, it does not matter. The choline is in the yolk, so do not throw it away. Food number 3, walnuts. Not almonds, not cashews, specifically walnuts. Of all the nuts, walnuts have the highest concentration of omega-3 fatty acids in the form of alpha-linolenic acid, or ALA. Your brain is roughly 60% fat, and it needs a constant supply of omega-3 to maintain the structure of its cell membranes. When cell membranes are rich in omega-3, signals pass between neurons more efficiently. When they are deficient, communication slows. A study published in the Journal of Nutrition, Health and Aging followed over 15,000 women over several years. Those who ate walnuts regularly showed better cognitive function and slower cognitive decline than those who did not. The researchers noted that walnut consumption was associated with a brain age that was roughly 2 years younger. A small handful of walnuts, about 7 to 10 halves, is enough. You do not need a bowl full. Sprinkle them on your oatmeal and you have already connected food 3 to food 4. Food number 4. Oats. Specifically, whole rolled oats or steel-cut oats. Not instant oats, which are often stripped of fiber and loaded with sugar. Oats provide something your brain desperately needs in the morning: a slow, steady supply of glucose. Your brain consumes roughly 20% of your body's total energy, and its preferred fuel is glucose. But the key word is steady. A blood sugar spike followed by a crash is worse than no food at all, because the crash triggers cortisol, and we already know from the brain video what cortisol does to the hippocampus. Oats have a low glycemic index, meaning they release glucose gradually over hours rather than minutes. They also contain beta-glucan, a type of soluble fiber that feeds beneficial gut bacteria. And emerging research on the gut-brain axis suggests that a healthy gut microbiome directly supports cognitive function. The bacteria in your gut produce neurotransmitters, including serotonin and GABA, that influence mood, sleep, and mental clarity. Food number 5. Extra virgin olive oil. And this one might seem unusual for breakfast, but hear me out. The Pre-Dimed Plus trial, one of the largest dietary studies ever conducted, followed over 6,000 adults for several years. Those who consumed extra virgin olive oil daily showed slower rates of cognitive decline compared to the control group. The key compound is oleocanthal, which I mentioned in my foods video. It works similarly to ibuprofen, reducing neuroinflammation, but olive oil also contains polyphenols that protect the blood-brain barrier and improve cerebrovascular function. The easiest way to include it at breakfast is to drizzle it on your oatmeal. I know that sounds strange if you have never tried it, but in Mediterranean countries, olive oil is used as a finishing oil on everything, including grains. 1 tablespoon is enough. The flavor is subtle, and the brain benefits are substantial. Now, let me show you how all 5 come together into one breakfast that takes less than 5 minutes. Start with half a cup of rolled oats. Cook them with water or milk about 2 minutes in the microwave or 5 on the stovetop. While the oats cook, boil or scramble 2 eggs. Once the oats are ready, drizzle 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil over them. Add a handful of blueberries on top. Sprinkle 7 to 10 walnut halves. That is it. 1 bowl. 2 eggs on the side. 5 minutes of preparation. And inside your brain, you have just delivered anthocyanins for memory, choline for neurotransmitter production, omega-3 for cell membrane integrity, slow-release glucose for sustained energy, and oleocanthal for neuroinflammation reduction. This is not a complicated diet. This is one meal. The first meal of your day, and it targets every major mechanism of brain aging that we have discussed across the last 7 videos. Before I let you go, let me be honest about what to avoid at breakfast if brain health matters to you. White toast with jam. This is the single worst breakfast for an aging brain. The refined flour spikes blood sugar. The jam adds more sugar. There is almost 0 protein, 0 healthy fat, and 0 brain protective compounds. Your brain runs on it for about 30 minutes, then crashes, and you reach for more sugar by mid-morning. Sugary cereals. Even the ones that say whole grain on the box. Check the label. If there is more than 6 grams of sugar per serving, your brain is getting an inflammatory hit with every spoonful. Fruit juice without fiber. Whole fruit is excellent, juice is not. The fiber in whole fruit slows sugar absorption. Without it, a glass of orange juice hits your bloodstream almost as fast as a soda, skipping breakfast entirely. Some people do well with intermittent fasting, but after 65, the research suggests that breakfast provides a cognitive advantage in the morning hours, precisely when most people need their brain working best for appointments, decisions, driving, and managing medications. Now, I understand that eating the same breakfast every day gets boring. So here are 3 variations that keep the same brain benefits. Variation 1. Replace oats with a slice of whole grain sourdough bread, topped with mashed avocado and a sliced boiled egg. Add blueberries on the side. Variation 2. Greek yogurt, which is high in protein, layered with walnuts, blueberries, and a drizzle of olive oil. Add a sprinkle of ground flaxseed for extra omega-3. Variation 3. A simple smoothie. Blend 1 cup of frozen blueberries, 1 tablespoon of walnut butter, half a cup of oats, 1 cup of milk and 1 tablespoon of olive oil. All 5 brain foods in a glass, under 2 minutes to make. Here is what I want you to take away from today. You cannot control the fact that your brain changes with age, but you can control what you feed it every morning. And the difference between a breakfast that fuels neuroinflammation and one that fights it is not dramatic. It is 5 simple foods, 5 minutes of preparation, and 1 decision you make before 9 in the morning. Blueberries for memory, eggs for acetylcholine, walnuts for omega-3, oats for steady glucose, olive oil for inflammation. That is the formula. You do not need supplements. You do not need superfoods flown in from another continent. You need what is probably already in your kitchen or available at any grocery store. Try it tomorrow morning. Just once. See how you feel by mid-morning. And if you notice a difference, even a subtle one, try it for a week. Your brain will notice before you do. I have a question for you. What do you currently eat for breakfast? Tell me in the comments. I am genuinely curious, and your answer might help me make a better follow-up video. In my next video, we are heading back inside your body. I am going to show you what happens when you stop moving for a week after 60. What happens to your muscles, your bones, your blood, and your brain. It is one of the most eye-opening inside stories I have researched. Subscribe so you do not miss it. I release a new video every Monday and Thursday. Your body is changing. Let us understand it together. Eat well this morning. I will see you in the next one.